Give the customers what they want. 6 powerful words that once made Hollywood unbeatable, but not anymore. Today, Warner Brothers' latest Shazam film was taken out by a headshot from the success of John Wick 4. And now Disney Studios is on the ropes. Peter Pandering is done even before its release date. Star Wars is dead, and Marvel has leaked all its audience goodwill like a bucket without a bottom. As for Tinseltown's television side, it's no different. It's 1 minute to midnight, and Doomsday Clock's about to toll. But see, Hollywood's been here before. The question is, can they remember enough of their history to evolve before they go extinct?
No me gustan los superhéroes.
What's going on, everybody? I hope all of you had a brilliant weekend, my friends. Welcome. I have great news. The apolitical action film of John Wick, its opening weekend numbers took in $137 million. That is stabbing the woke Warner Brothers production of Shazam Fury of the Gods' 10-day, $104 million failure right in the eye with a number 2 pencil. The jig is up. Audiences have figured out what's in Hollywood's heart. They hate normal people more than they like making money. And that's a lot of hate. As a result, studios as they exist right now are either going to have to evolve or go extinct. At a minimum, they're going to have to deal with the reality of get woke, go broke. The happiest place on earth? Not for 7,000 Disney employees as they begin first round of layoffs. Now, you had those headlines with Disney Plus's last month of losing 2.4 million subscribers with this week's firing of Marvel's executive, the quota queen Victoria Alonso. Now, she was the executive who tried to woo superfans a couple of years ago by saying she was going to rename the X-Men to X-People.
And it's funny that people call it the X-Men. There's a lot of female superheroes in that X-Men group, so I think it's outdated.
But see, the Mouse House isn't the only studio making a mess. People are dumping Netflix so fast you think they're afraid of catching an STD if they linger too long on their homepage.
Well, we can't have that.
And then you have historical companies like Universal Pictures. They're bottoming out financially because they took the entertainment industry's advice of attacking audience members after each shameful failure. Bros star Billy Eichner blames box office flop on straight people. See, for 10 years, Hollywood has refused to give customers what they want. They're just trafficking in discomfort porn. No storytelling, no exploration of human nature, just one-dimensional message carries instead of flesh and blood characters. They're transforming theaters into giant political soapboxes for their re-agenda. That's it. And it's not paying off. Take Buzz Lightyear, for example. Disney burned nearly $200 million to bring Lightyear to life just so they could act as step-parents to rewire children's programming while they paraded around their hatred for all men. They transformed Buzz into a villainous version of a poster boy for their idea of the patriarchy. They didn't make a hero. They made someone who wanted to hog the limelight, someone who wanted to go at it alone without any help from anybody else, and a 3-time quitter anytime it got tough. That's not a role model for kids. And on top of all that, they threw in a same-sex kissing scene just for all the families who brought their 5-year-olds. And the studio was wondering how come a Toy Story movie, part of an animated, successful franchise, happened to fall? Well, it's simple. But see, Pixar's chief creative officer, Peter Docter, wanted to figure it out, like there's really a mystery to solve. We've done a lot of soul searching. We love the characters. I think probably what we've ended on in terms of what went wrong is that we asked too much of the audience. I think there was a disconnect between what people wanted, expected, and what we were giving to them. See, all radicals, regardless of ideology, in order to keep pushing their beliefs, have to pretend to not know things. They have to act dumb to reality at the same time they're deaf to common sense and blind to the consequences. Disney does the same thing. The same excuses they made for Lightyear, they made for Strange Worlds. How it flopped, they blamed it on the audience. They say they were confused. See, they were trained during the pandemic not to go outside, but to wait for all the shows to drop on Disney Plus so they can go to the movie houses.
Excuses, excuses, excuses.
So that brings us right back full circle to the studio pretending not to know things. Yeah, but how do they answer the question of Spider-Man No Way Home? It crushed the competition, bringing in almost $2 billion. That was at the same time Marvel was releasing movies on Disney Plus. What did the studio say? Maybe they didn't like animated shows. Really? Then how do you explain Puss in Boots bringing in almost $555 million at the theater? Or Minions: The Rise of Gru crushing it at almost $1 billion? That's success. But see, Hollywood can hide their head in the sand all day long, but they cannot save themselves from being bitten in the ass by the snakes they've let loose. Because people are hungry for real entertainment. They just don't want woke media anymore.
You can say that again, pal.
Take a look at some of the monster hits like Top Gun Maverick, John Wick 4, Reacher, The Northman, Terminalist, Invincible, Bullet Train, or even have the independent film Nobody, made for $15 million and it grossed almost $60 million. That's success. That's evidence that Tinseltown's ignoring while they keep the woke train chugging along towards the abyss. What's interesting is almost a century ago, Hollywood as an industry almost snuffed it in its infancy. See, that was the era of the silent films when they reigned supreme and you had stars like Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton joined by screen queens like Greta Garbo and Clara Bow. But then sound was discovered. Talkies were made. So they needed new actors with new acting styles, new script writers, new technicians, new technology, and sound stages. It was all brand new. But Hollywood not only embraced the challenge, they created the first golden era of cinema. Hollywood became the envy of the world because they gave the customers what they wanted.
Oh, yeah. Well, that makes sense.
People would spend their hard-earned dollars to wash away all their depression fears just so they could watch James Cagney go all gangster or join him in feeling patriotic in a sing-along with Yankee Doodle Dandy. People could feel cool and sharp like Humphrey Bogart or strong and puff out their chest like Clark Gable when he said, "Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn." But since life is all about change, and a little while later, almost 20 years, television came out in force. Another near-death experience for the movie industry. But did Tinseltown tuck it in? No. People stopped going to the movie theaters because, like, why? From the comfort of my own living room, I can laugh, cry, cheer, or watching television. So Hollywood evolved. They're like, we're going to give you something you can't get at home.
We're living at the dawn of the Technicolor age, Lucille.
The amazing Technicolor Cheese Wedge.
That's how we ended up with Technicolor, VistaVision stereo sound, and widescreen epics. Whether you're talking about westerns or you're talking about Bible tales, ancient sagas, or war films, they all thundered across the big screen. I mean, you wanted to see Marilyn Monroe bat her eyes and Gentlemen Prefer Blondes? Go to the movie theaters. If you wanted to feel the heat on your face and the sand in between your toes as Peter O'Toole played Lawrence of Arabia and the charging of the guns at Aqaba, put on a suit and go to the movies. That's what Hollywood did. They evolved, they doubled down, they got bigger, bolder, and grander. And see, all that entertainment, it carried the country along all the way to the tired movies of the mid-'60s. That's when Tinseltown's underbelly was exposed. Because see, Hollywood was caught flat-footed once again. Their ideas were old, no fresh anymore. They were rehashing old stories, rebooting movies just like they do today during a time when the culture was rapidly changing. And like a phoenix, they returned. And in 1967, they were reborn. We got The Graduate. Then 2001, A Space Odyssey, Once Upon a Time in the West. And then you had The Wild Bunch and Easy Rider. It was beautiful. Hollywood saved itself. It gave the customers what it wanted. And the old guard stepped aside so new stars could shine. That's where you get people like Francis Ford Coppola, Sidney Lumet, Woody Allen, Cimino, Cassavetes, Spielberg. It was brilliant. All of them came to deliver what the heart needed. And in a blink of an eye, we were in the 80s blockbuster era. Pretty soon followed by the indie-friendly 90s and then the franchise CGI-heavy 2000s. And the last really good movie era was the Marvel's 2010. Were they profitable? You bet. They were like the U.S. Mint. They were money machines because they gave the customers what they wanted.
It's not what you like. It's the consumer.
Now, the solution for the movie industry's identity crisis isn't rocket science. It's about restoring creativity, imagination, and talent. But that means replacing the behind-the-scenes echo chambers that are currently leading the studios. That's talking about all the executives in the Hollywood hive, these over-the-hill 20-year-old Ivy Leaguers who are suffering from mental menopause. See, they're obsessed with pushing their agenda. They're hell-bent on normalizing their sexual fetishes by rewiring human nature in their own image.
It's disgusting.
But they don't realize they're going to fail because something's got to give, and it ain't going to be human nature. Now, if you enjoyed this video, if you found value in it, guess what? This is going to be the first in the series we're going to do over the next year. Share some of your favorite movies or what you think Hollywood has done right and wrong. Hit the subscribe button, push the notification bell, and share your thoughts and questions in the comments down below. And remember, we never bow down, we never bend the knee. Always.